What's up, hackers? Welcome to Chill Code. My name is Taggart, and tonight we are diving back into Rust, my old friend. After a little bit of a hiatus, I wanted to put a little bit of work in on OffensiveNotion, and also just tackle something that I've been interested in for a little bit. And that is implementing a get system command, and in particular, I wanted to do this for a number of reasons. So, quick backstory, I was poking around a little bit with a tool called sharpdp API today for work purposes, and sharpdp API is a .NET assembly, obviously, with sharp in front of it, that handles some of what Mimikatz does with the data protection API. That's what DP API does. By the way, total aside, this messed with me for the longest time because in web app world, there's something called NP API, and they were so close that I thought that they were related. They're not at all. Okay, so sharpdp API just added a new feature, which is what I was playing with today, and its new feature was SCCM, where if you use Microsoft Configuration Manager in your environment, it's very likely there's this thing called a network access account that it uses as a fallback to try to access the distribution points, which is where software comes from in an SCCM managed environment. Okay, so like if you have software that's getting distributed with SCCM or configurations that's getting deployed by SCCM, this is where it comes from. And the network access account, like if you can't auth with the local user, it'll try this network access account. Here's the problem: the credentials are stored. They're encrypted on the system, but if you have access to the DP API master key, you can decrypt said username and password. And so in most situations, this is fine. Because I shouldn't say this is fine. If everything is done correctly, this is minimal impact because the network access account is supposed to be an account that doesn't have interactive logon rights and is specifically just for reading data off of the distribution point. That's all it's for. That's all it really has to do. So if the environment uses an overprivileged account for this, then you're in trouble, right? And there may be some pivot opportunities if you're able to disclose this account and move from there to something else. But if it's configured correctly, then it kind of just does the thing that the authenticated user could already do. Frackery, Seratador, good to see you both. Good to see everybody. Hope we're having a chill Wednesday. If not, I hope you will be soon. So anyway, that was kind of why I was playing around with DP API, and in order to sort of reverse engineer some of this, I was taking a look at the source, and I was looking at it, and it has this really nice get system function in it, and it was, yeah, there we go. Let's go to that. Helpers get system. And it was clean enough, right? It's just from here to here. It's just clean enough that I was like, I can probably follow this. And if I can follow this, maybe there's a chance I'm able to re-implement this in Rust, which would mean it would be a cool thing to add to OffensiveNotion. All of that is contingent upon any of this working. And of course, we know that sometimes when you use the Windows API in Rust, things can get a little bit squiffy. So who knows? But I would like to try. And I also, Husky was working on something very similar not that long ago, and it was confounding enough that the work stopped. And so I wanted to take a run at this myself, and even if I don't succeed, it was time that I got my hands a little bit dirtier with the Windows API, and in particular process tokens and things like that. So I wanted to start doing that, and that's the plan for tonight. So this get system, this is in C#, obviously. So the first order of business will be to sort of like re-implement this piece by piece in Rust in a way that makes sense. And then after that, we'll start testing it. So what I want to start with is not actually writing this into OffensiveNotion, but writing an independent proof of concept for the escalation, and then put that into an OffensiveNotion command if everything works. So the basic run of this, the way that get system works, first of all, this is only going to work if you're in an elevated like administrator shell anyway. It's only going to be possible. Otherwise, you won't have the permissions to do any of this. So that's why this if is high integrity is the first check. I don't know how they did this, but we have tools built in that do that for us. So if is high integrity, okay. And then we're creating a pointer for the token that we're about to grab. And we're getting when logon's token. So when logon is the process that logs on users, right? And it's one of the first processes that starts up when you start up Windows. In fact, hold on a second. Let me see if I can get up, because I know I have sysinternals. Let's see if I can get, like, procx or procmon running here. Do I want that? Do I want procmon or do I want procx? There we go. Yeah, I wanted Process Explorer because I wanted to see the process tree. I don't need services. Yeah, so when logon, it's got a PID of 1196, which is pretty low. And it's a child directly of not win init, it's a child of just straight up. I believe it's a child of a process that ends SMSS, I think. So it becomes an orphan, but it's one of the first things that pops up. But the point, of course, is that when logon is running as system necessarily. And so grabbing that thing's process token gives you the system token, right? So that's kind of what's going on there. And why use when logon? Because it's always going to be there, I guess. And it's returning an array of processes with get processes by name, which I don't think we're going to do. We're going to do this a little bit differently. But then int pointer handle is processes 0.handle because the array, we're getting the 0th one, okay? And then we're going to attempt to open the process token. That's a Windows API thing, which in fact, let's just get that up right now because we know we're going to need it. Yep, there's Windows. Let's just go to the documentation. Open process token. That's our first one that we'll be looking up. Frackery, don't want to throw you off path, but I'm going to ask a question that's totally off topic anyway. Could the red team environment that was set up yesterday be used as a blue team environment? I don't know for what purpose you would use it for defensive, but the principles... Let me turn down the music. I know that's probably a little noisy. The principles of spinning up cloud architecture could be repurposed to do blue team stuff. But you wouldn't really like spin up disposable architecture for blue team purposes unless you were doing incident response. In which case, yeah, maybe you would do that, and there are like Terraform templates and things like that to spin up incident response cloud assets that would do like Velociraptor, things like that. And in those cases, maybe you would do sort of a reverse proxy if you had to do a cloud access thing. So yeah, maybe, but it would be a little bit different. And generally speaking, at least the IR people I know hate doing that because especially in terms of chain of custody and other sorts of concerns, especially if you're talking about a defer process, there are too many questions to be asked about data integrity. Yeah, most of the folks I know roll with their own servers that they'll bring to a site, and or have like a secure cloud that they'll do a point-to-point connection to. Right. So open process token takes param 0, which is the process handle, which we have to get. Desired access, which is the token access mask, which 0x002. We'll figure out what that's about. Token access mask. And then the token handle, which is the thing. This is an output variable. So that's going to be, if we look at how this is implemented, right? The out is the H token right here. Yeah. Like so. And then if it's not success, return false. And I think that's the value for duplicate as a token. I mean, that would make sense. Token access mask. If we go to, because this is in security, and if we look at the structs or the constants, there's probably a token access or token duplicate. Yeah. And that's some value that we could look up, but yeah, something like that. So this would be the actual token value we do. And this is, again, this is one of those differences with working with the Windows API in Rust, where it has all the typing done for you. You just got to go get it. So whereas, I mean, you can use the raw ints, but I think that it's a better idea to do the typing, first of all, because that's the way that Rust wants you to do it, and also it's going to be more semantic. So Rotador, I am learning programming, starting with Python, but hacking is so different. Seems like I'm wasting time with Python and C#. What do you think will be helpful to hack? Okay, so it is absolutely true that programming and software development, first, programming is not the same as software development. They're related, but they're not the same. Programming is different than software development, and software development and programming and security or hacking are totally different areas of focus. They interrelate, but they are not the same. And if your specific focus is becoming a security professional, focus on that. And then discover where programming can help you out after that, whether it's in exploit development or writing scripts for incident response. If you want to do blue team stuff, I would focus first on security. Okay, then if you want to do cybersecurity, don't start with programming. That might sound like kind of a hot take, but I don't think it is. You have a much broader body of knowledge that you need to cover first. Because as a cybersecurity professional, you need to know a little bit about systems administration, about network engineering. You need to know about, frankly, business concerns, physical security, depending, especially if you're going for something like the CISSP or something like that. There are all sorts of areas of knowledge beyond programming that you need to get the certs that you need if you're going after certs and understand the broader landscape. Programming becomes like a cool superpower after that. Hey, Equadio, stop bothering Husky. That's your warning. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. Focus elsewhere for now, and then come back to programming when you feel like you're ready to take on something else. Once you feel like you've got the security stuff. Okay. So open process token is kind of the first thing that happens. What happens next? We create a duplicate token, which we initialize to 0. Don't think about it as a right or wrong answer, Equadio. I'm just recommending that if you're starting from nothing and your interest is doing cybersecurity in general, being an analyst or a pen tester or something like that, don't start with programming. Start with the security fundamentals and then go into programming. But if you do it the other way around, it's totally fine. That's how I did it. I did it the other way around. I was a programmer long before I was a security person. So dupe token. So this is again where it's a placeholder, and interop duplicate token or duplicate token. So that's the second function. Let's go get that. It's all going to be in the security component here, almost certainly. Or not. Those are constants. I don't want constants. I want functions. Thank you. Duplicate token. Right. Existing token. So this at least has the same shape as what we were seeing there. Cool. And then this is the kicker, and this is also where I believe Husky was having a lot of Sturm und Drang. Impersonate logged on user. And what impersonate logged on user does is it, I believe, essentially grafts that token onto the current process. If Husky's there, he can correct me on that. But I believe that's what takes place. After which we close the handle to the token and the duplicate token. And that's it. And we see if we're system. So I think we're ready to get started here. This is high integrity is interesting. So how is this function implemented? Windows identity, get current, Windows principal, return principal is in role, Windows built-in role.administrator. So this is some C# stuff that I'm not going to be able to do. But that should be okay, because I'm pretty sure, we had a way in OffensiveNotion of checking for this, right? In get privs. Yes. Right. Elevate struct token is elevated equals 1. Depends on what you want to do in security. I've got experience in programming, other little HTML, CSS, got background. IT infrastructure, work through TryHackman, Hackbox. Yeah, exactly, Ted. It all depends. There's no one answer. I hope that that's clear for any advice that I give. It's all from my point of view, and it's all biased necessarily, even if I try not to be. And in many cases, the opposite is also going to be true, right? Lots of people can start as programmers and then become security people, just like me. Or go the other way around, or do both at the same time, right? It doesn't, there is no perfect answer for everybody. I will say, though, one of the biggest challenges I experienced becoming a security professional, especially thinking from the offensive side, was thinking destructively. Thinking in a way that was counter to the rules that I, as a developer, was putting in place previously, if that makes sense. Because as an offensive security professional, and really a good proactive defensive security professional, you have to think about how to break rules, not how to build rules. And that is not the easiest thing. It takes, well, not for everybody. It takes some practice to think about systems in that way. Not everybody looks at a door and thinks about how you can open it without a key, but thinking about how you can open it without a key is kind of what the attacker mindset is all about. How could you know what could go wrong before knowing the basics of coding? So there are a million aspects of IT security that have nothing to do with the code that goes on inside of a program, right? You can exist at a higher level of the architecture and still identify problems. For example, you can go through a Windows environment compromising SMB, right? Compromising Active Directory misconfigurations, getting all the way to domain admin. You can, without writing a single line of code. You're going to use code that other people have written, but my point is that to do that, you have to understand things that aren't necessarily Python, C#, C++. I'm not talking about social engineering. I am talking about actual technical attacks, but you don't have to necessarily understand or be a coder to perform those attacks. That becomes interesting later in your development. But to get started, having a much more fundamental understanding about how networks are put together, and how like operating systems do what they do, those sorts of things don't require you to write code. They really don't. Okay. So we do actually have this get privs, which I'm going to probably just yank. I think. And in fact, I'll probably just pull this right off. Equadio, I feel like you're trying to get me to give you an answer that agrees with you. I feel like I've given my answer. To get started, you do not need to be a programmer. You do not need to understand code to get started. All right, let's get this going. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of, this is one of the beautiful things about using the Windows first party API rather than Win API, is that I can actually, if I'm just targeting Windows, there's no Linux component to this at all. I can just do this without the conditional compilation decorator. And what's cool about this is that Rust will do the autocompletes and pathing for me on this correctly, even though I'm developing it in Linux. So get current process, open process token. Okay, so I want to pretty much just yank the get privs. Yeah, right here. Is elevated. I'm just gonna yank this right off because it's perfect as is. Just toss that right in here and find those. Actually, let's do a little regular expression party here. So we'll do config. Yep, regular expression. Well, I have some good news if you're struggling with regular expressions. Because I have a course on regular expressions. It is for free, and you're welcome to enroll at taggarttech.edgenex.io. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking for a hashtag and then brackets and then config and then anything else after the config. And we're going to replace that with nothing. And then we're probably going to just get rid of these angle brackets here. Yeah, just bring all that up. Okay. Open process token, get token information, close handle. Because that was everything that I imported so far, we're good there. So is elevated should be sorted. Yep, we've got handle. Good, 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 good. Nice. So now we're about ready to start implementing the rest of this. To make that happen, I'm going to just toss this function over here. And we'll say if is elevated. We'll say print line elevated. Let's get that system. Else. And stay tuned on that EduNext site. There's going to be a lot more coming there. We're just getting started. And if you are interested in producing some content for the platform, and you have achieved contributor status on our Discord, then get in touch and we can have a conversation about what you'd like to share. It isn't a free-for-all. I am for a little bit going to be a bit of a benevolent dictator about content on there. I feel like that's my prerogative if it's my site. Hey, Sin. I'm chilling. Good to see you. How are you? All right, let's just make sure this much works. To do so, I'm going to come over here. And we're going to do a cargo build. And yeah, we'll build it for release. Although, release doesn't mean anything for this just yet. So let's make it mean something. I'm just going to go grab some deets from OffensiveNotion's cargo.toml. Yeah, there we go. And get the profile.dev and profile.released. What this does is it makes the release smaller and it strips the debug symbols. So it's a little bit lighter weight because, as we know, Rust binaries can get a little chunky. Ah, you're preparing a report to submit for your next interview. Awesome. Oh man, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do Rust Up update because it's been a minute. And there may be a reason to do that. Yeah. As of April 7th, Rust 1.60. What do we have that's new? Rust flag C, instrument coverage, support for LLVM-based coverage. Instrumentation has been stabilized in Rust C. You can try this out. That's cool. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first step toward being able to use some of the LLVM obfuscation plugins. So that might be kind of rad. Collecting information on the build with a timings flag. Oh, fun. You can benchmark builds. New syntax for cargo features. Ooh, this actually does impact us. Let's see. This release introduced two changes to improve support for cargo features and how they interact with optional dependencies, namespace dependencies, and weak dependency features. Oh. The optional dependency JPEG decoder implicitly defines a feature of the same name. Enabling JPEG decoder feature will enable the JPEG decoder dependency. Got it. Okay. Incremental compilation. Oh, Sin, thank you for saying that about the Discord. I think we have something special going on there. It's a really positive, supportive, and inclusive community. And may it stay that way for 1,000 years. Where am I from? I'm from Philly, but I'm chilling here in the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Grizzbear, thank you for the follow. And JSH, thank you for the follow. The following new methods and traits are now stabilized. Arcs and RCs got some stuff. It's always funny to me where features are stabilized on integers. That just seems strange. Like, did we not have integers figured out at this point? But no, it turns out. Absolute difference. That's handy. Cool. Okay. So nothing monumental, but nevertheless, it's worth our time to maybe do. I'll do it up here. Rust up, update stable. Yeah. And I usually have to restart VS Code when I do this to get the new version of Rust Analyzer going. Fast though, right? All right. Now let's CP target. Ooh. Release. Goodbye, VS Code. What's going on? I built for release. It should just be in there. It's weird that it wasn't. Unless it didn't build successfully, but I thought it did. No, we have an error. I guess I had to update the latest version of VS Code too. Okay, what went wrong? Ah. Main.rs27. Oh! We do use isRoot. I looked at that, I was like, I don't know if we use that. Turns out we definitely do. Okay, let me go grab that. isRoot. Toss that in here. And we'll also need, so for get privs, we'll use isRoot. Right. What else? libc. Now, I don't think we need to do this. That call to Isru is only for non... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Husky. Oh, right. Right. That's what we pulled out of the... That's what we pulled out of that conditional compilation block. Johnny MD5 asks, why Rust? Is it just a learning opportunity, or why do you prefer it over other languages? It originally was a learning opportunity, but I legitimately like it over other languages. I've been doing programming of one shape or another in Rust for a few years now, and I legitimately prefer it, certainly to C, certainly to C++. It's the systems programming language that I know the best, and things that I like about it. I like the strong typing system. I like the functional nature of it. Once you get under the hood, it actually has like OCaml DNA in it. And so much of what you do is very functional in terms of how you process data. I really appreciate that. And it's blazing fast. The only barrier, really, is the syntax, which is verbose. It is. But I don't think it's really that much more verbose than C++. And is it different? Sure. Is it less well known? Sure. And right, Husky brings up another point. The ecosystem is just unbeatable. The cargo development chain is really nice. It feels like I'm working in a web dev environment. It feels that clean, but yet it's a systems programming language. And yeah, there are so many good crates out there that you can use. You can stand on the shoulders of others and put something together very quickly that remains fast and secure. Okay, so we need libc, ironically, but so this open process token, I actually don't know that we do need to do it this way. So we get current process, right? Get current process returns a handle. And so if we do let current proc handle equal get current process. Right. This operation is unsafe and requires an unsafe. I feel like maybe we just unsafe this whole thing for the moment. I'm going to comment this out. We're going to move all, yeah, we're going to move pretty much all of this into unsafe. By the way, I was having this conversation a couple of times on Discord. The unsafe block is extremely misunderstood. A lot of people think that unsafe means that it's like an automatic buffer overflow or whatever if you're using unsafe code. That's really not what it means. Unsafe code is, as this says, it's code whose interfaces, whose memory safety cannot be verified by the type system. Meaning, okay, if you want to use these external components, like if you want to use foreign function interfaces, or you want to use C types or whatever, you can do it. But because they're external to Rust's type system, it's now on you to maintain memory safety in the code that you write. The compiler's no longer going to be able to hold your hand for it. And so that's kind of like, that's what it means. It doesn't mean, and look, no matter what, safe Rust can't cause undefined behavior. Yeah, and so like diving into what unsafe actually means is I think worth your time if you're doing Rust, and it's also worth your time if you're one of those folks who likes to joke about, haha, Rust says it's memory safe, but actually it's got memory safety problems. Nah. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a far sight better than writing this in C. Okay, so we're all inside unsafe here. So for that reason, I can get rid of this. Okay. And this too. Actually. I could have probably just done unsafe function and save myself the trouble. Yeah. That would have been smarter. Okay. And then I may want to do other stuff inside the main that isn't unsafe, so I will leave that as such. Okay. Okay, now, get current process is going to return a handle. And in fact, I am going to say, I'm going to do a print line here. Current process handle. I always forget how to do this. String formatters. Yeah, I thought so. It was hashtag X. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's give that a go. See if we've sorted our problem here. That... Oh, wait. Because we also have this elevation. Because what is this? This mute, this C void. Is this another handle? It's for a token. Mem size of token elevation. But do we need to do it that way? Because if we did like let mute, actually let elevation, no, because it's a pointer, right? Yeah. No, wait, I think that would still work. So if I do let token elevation, I'm gonna comment this out. We'll see why in just a second. Standard mem size of token elevation as U32. Okay. Return size U32 equals size. Return length equals size. Token information class token elevation. Let elevation struct. Elevation as mute token elevation. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm getting hung up on the wrong stuff. I should leave well enough alone for right now. And just pull in libc for now. And then go back. Oh god, it's so angry. It's probably angry because I need to set the lit crypt encrypt key. But, let's see what happens here. Let me close this and set. Yeah. See if that screams at me anymore. Ooh. So we do need libc. Why am I not seeing? Oh, Ted, I know that question wasn't for me, it was for Husky, but do you asking whether Linus will ever use, I assume you mean Rust for the Linux kernel? No. He will never do that. He is the fundamental truth about Linus Torvalds is that he is a C programmer. Like, that is the fundamental reality about him, is that he is a very, like, dyed-in-the-wool C programmer and doesn't believe that any other language is necessary. He said some okay things about Rust. Yeah. It's so funny to read, like, the official Linux Foundation documentation and, like, read how the kernel update process goes, and it's like, the official documentation isn't, oh, you know, it goes to the kernel advisory board, you know, current, you know, head of the, you know, the Linux kernel development team is Linus. No. Like, all code reviewed by Linus before being approved. It's insane that such a critical piece of infrastructure globally is still under the control of one guy. Two, if you include Greg KH. But even so, it's weird. It's just weird, right? And so much of the Linux kernel is about, you know, his predilections about what is good C programming. It's pretty wild to think about it. How did I get away with not using C void in this? Oh, that's why. Standard FFI C void. There it is. Okay. No. He's an impossible person. It's not great. All right, what did I import to make this work? Is it in main? Did I pull it in main? Nope. Okay, let's back this up a little bit. Use of undeclared. I don't think that solves it, but maybe it does. Nope. Okay, what is happening with this libc malloc here? Nope, wrong thing. But I don't think we need to anyway. So we'll hold on to that thought. What else did we get wrong? The trait-bound handle lower hex is not satisfied. Oh. Well, that's fine. We'll print it as a debug. That should be satisfied. Okay. I don't care about unused imports. We'll get there. And then, so libc, use of undeclared creator module libc. So it's screaming about that because we do it for the Windows compilation only, I think. That's how we get. Let's see void. See malloc. All right, let's look that up. Extern C. So what does this mean? That's not actually completing, though. Create libc. No, this is a dependency. Okay. Yep, there it is. Okay. I just thought I was losing my mind. There we go. We'll just let this cargo check finish here. Yeah, I don't think the Linux kernel is ever going to be C. I think what comes next is going to... Or, sorry, is ever going to be Rust. I think what comes next is going to be Rust. Because Linux isn't... I don't think structurally, just like from an organizational standpoint, I don't think it can survive long term. And I am a huge Linux fan. But I really don't see how it can... Like, how's it going to outlive Linux? It's designed not to. The Linux Foundation, like, props up Linus Torvalds. So how does that work after he's done? I think we're gonna see it's not gonna be BSD, but I think that we'll see another kernel. Maybe it's Fuchsia, but I doubt it. That either forks from Linux or takes over from it and becomes a little bit different, and maybe then there will be a conversation about code safety. But even then, you'll have to have a conversation about implementation of all the libc stuff for backwards compatibility, right? You'll assume Linus will appoint his successors. Maybe. It's messed up you have to count on it, though. Hey, that built. Okay. Get system.exe. Win home. Downloads. Get system.exe. All right. Let me fire up an administrative PowerShell window. Too big to fail. VTCN, you know that term was coined for a thing that failed. Like, it was bailed out, but Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, they failed. And so did the auto industry. And I don't see anybody coming to bail the Linux Foundation out. Interesting. We got a -1 for the current process handle. It did not like that at all. What are we listening to? Whatever. Well, the process ran anyway, but the problem was that it didn't think that we had... That's so interesting. It didn't think we were elevated here. I did nothing differently. Oh, that's true. I agree with you. There's too much it relies on to just stop being developed. It's open source. I agree that it'll be open source and take it over. I guess what I was thinking, like, I don't think Linux is going to disappear. It'll change shape and it'll still be maintained. For that, I 100% agree. But in terms of, like, where Rust becomes part of a kernel, there is such a project actually right now. There's something called RedoxOS that is still pretty early days, but pretty cool to check out. The Lehman Brothers Risk Management Department team t-shirts, those are good. Can we also get Enron GRC? Yeah, this is kind of cool. So Redux is a microkernel architecture, kind of interesting. And then GoPro was talking a little bit about the Rust GNU tools project, and this project is one of the contributors to that. So it's kind of cool that it's being used to build this thing. Booting this is a huge pain, though. It turns out, without building it from source. Okay, so, like, what did we do differently here? We did get current process. Oh, and we forgot to open the process token. Right, that's probably why it failed. So, open process token, but instead of this, and we're going to say the process handle is in fact going to be handle, and then the token query, and then the token handle is oh, no, that's not good. Because this is the out, right? Current proc handle. Oh, no. Other way around. Other way around. This should be handle. Stop that. And this should be current proc handle. Yes. There we go. All right, let's try that. There we go. Okay. So, we have that part going. Let's try to get that system. What all do we need to get that system? Let's pop back over to our documentation over here. Let's go to sharpdp API. So, get system. We've taken care of... Okay, so the int pointer, so the token is pointer.0. Okay. Let mute. When log on token equals. Now for this, we're gonna have to go to our security. Full screen this structs. Token. Duplicate token gives us back a. Oh, just a bool. It's just a handle. It's just a handle. Right. We never pass the tokens around. It's just handles. So if we initialize it, because the way that handles work in this library is that handles are a struct that wrap an I size, an integer. So this is the same thing as initializing. What we just did here is the same thing as initializing the handle to 0. Right here. Now, open when logon's token. Get processes by name. Is that a thing we have? Or is that a C# thing? Yeah. Get process ID. Process though is param 0 and has to be something that can be turned into a handle. Those get process ID. What does it actually look like? Handle the process. So that's tricky. We may have to pull some other code from OffensiveNotion, because we have a PS command here. Oh, perfect. You know what? We'll just do this. Because we actually, am I already? I think I already got sysinfo because I knew we were going to need it. Yes, yes, I did. So let's go and use that. Sysinfo. Okay, and then how do we do this? Okay, I'm going to copy this. We're going to make a new function over here. We're going to do I guess none of this has to be public. Fund. Get processes. And what is this going to return? This is going to return a vec of answers. God, I can feel my Rust muscles getting back in shape. I haven't written a whole lot of Rust in the last month or two. I can feel Husky winding up the pun, so just deliver it. Sysdot processes. So we're going to do this a little bit better here. For PID and sysdot processes. Oh, you know what? You're rustless? I thought you were going to say something like, sounds like you've gotten rusty. Yeah, there it is. So actually, it's a PID struct that we want. So it's going to become a vec of PIDs. It's kind of interesting. And this is just kind of how this goes. Oh, snap. CM Griffing, thank you so much for the raid. Party of 106. I think this is the officially largest crew we've ever had on a Wednesday for a chill code. Omen Codes, good to see you. Welcome, friends. Welcome, new friends. Muskie. Wedgeller, or Healer, I have no idea. Burnt Toast, thank you so much for the follows. Thank you so much for the raid, CM Griffin. How was your stream? Doing some React and TypeScript. React and TypeScript, right here. I've recently moved on from doing a lot of React. The last project I did in Vue for the first time, and I have to say, there's a lot to like about it. Oh, you were prepping for a talk at Golang. Really cool, Golang SF. So we're doing some Rust tonight, and what we're doing is we're doing some offensive Rust, and we are writing a tool that, if it works, will elevate from an administrative shell in Windows to system. So first we're going to get all the PIDs here, and we're going to do... This is going to be fun. We can do this as kind of a one-liner, or we can do this the more rusty way. Because what we're going to do, since system has this sys.processes, right? What we can do with that is we can do... Oh, it's a hash map. Interesting. What happens when I do a hash map with a into ITER? How does that work? We haven't worked with hash maps that often. But hash maps are Rust's key value pair struct. And it works just like this. An iterator, here we go. An iterator visiting all key value pairs in an arbitrary order. And it becomes a tuple, which is what I would have assumed. I mean, Meteoric Rust, I went down, I cloned it out. If you have borrow checker problems, either clone is sometimes the right answer, sometimes. But it could also be that your type requirements are too strict. Dot filter. This is going to be cool. PN. Okay, filter PN. And we're going to say name. To lowercase dot contains when log on. Hey, Owen Coates. It's going well. Yeah, been a while. Glad to see you. So here's some rusty nonsense right here, what we're doing. So sys.processes gives us a hash map. And we're turning it into an iterator, which allows us to do this cool stuff. The iterator is an iterator over PID process, right? And then we're going to run a filter on it for PID process. And so anything that contains when log on. Okay. And that actually... we're going to do .collect. You know what? Let's do PID, process. Just to make it easy for the moment. And because I'm not going to put a semicolon here, this should return exactly that. Actually, get processes. I did this more abstract, right? Contains proc name, not when log on. Burnt Toast, thanks a lot. Yes, it's actually a website. If you go to plaza.one, I think. Yep. If you go to plaza.one, it is a pretty rad vaporwave internet radio station that so far has been 100% DMCA safe. So pretty cool for me. Okay. get win logon process equals get processes. You know, sometimes the hints are a little much. Win logon. Okay. And oh, unknown, because I forgot to import process. That would have been smart. There we go. Hang on to that get processes function. We can eventually do some fun stuff with it. Okay. I will. Get processes when log on. And then if when log on dot len or dot is empty. Panic. Can find when log on. Hopefully that'll never be true, but just in case. Oh, you're welcome, Bert Toast. I'm always happy to introduce people to new sources of good vaporwave. Let's just live in that weird 90s mall nostalgia forever. I have not yet visited my Mallsoft fascination really on this stream. I might someday, but that's slowly testing the waters of how weird I can make the music before I completely alienate everybody. That's the sound of dozens of keyboards looking up Mallsoft. Okay. So we've got the when logon process is empty, couldn't find when logon. And then we keep moving, right? Now we got to get the process. Because we just want the 0th. That chill wave. And lo-fi really was the tip of the iceberg. Oh, yeah. I sort of messed myself up by just, like, letting Spotify get weirder and weirder. Okay, so now we need to let's return to what we're doing here. We need to open a process token. Get process by name we're not doing because we sort of sorted that out. Oh snap! Does that have a handle? I think I have to specifically open process because I'll have the pit, right? And I'll get the handle. Dang, Tibbs, good to see you. Boy, this is just, we're just collecting everybody's viewers. Tiberius, welcome. Welcome, Raiders. Now I have to type this name correctly. Web App Wednesday. A man after my own heart. How was your Web App Wednesday, my friend? Yeah. Oh, we can just do... yeah, we actually have to do that. So... Okay. So let's do let mute when log on proc handle equals handle 0. And then For those of you who just joined us, what we're doing is we are writing a privilege escalation project in Rust. The idea, which is based on Sharp DP API's implementation of same, is we're going to get system very similar to how Mimikatz does it, but we're going to do it in Rust. And if we can get this proof of concept going, then once it's done, we'll be able to add it as a feature to OffensiveNotion. That is the plan. Okay. So we have the token handle and the proc handle, which is, we need both of those, as it turns out. Because it's called H token here and handle, which is not, you know, the best naming convention, but whatever. But in our case, we have winlog on token handle and winlog on proc handle. And welcome to verbose variables in my code, because I was an English major first. And now the music gets louder. Okay, so we have to both open process and then open process token. I'm going to comment that out. And actually, I should follow my own good advice about this, which is use comments to call our shot here. Duplicate token. And then what? Impersonate logged on user. And then close handles. Yeah. Okay. So do we have open process imported? No, so let's go get it. Open process. Yeah. Okay. What does open process need? This might be where it gets a little bit strange. Open process. Process access rights. Bin B inherit handle, and then the DW process ID, which is a U32. I am Henry Earl. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, and we're doing all this through the first party Windows API Rust crate. So we're trying to play by its rules here. Open process. Process access rights. And then param1 is bool. Inherit handle. And so I don't really see this happen so much here, because this just does this. Yeah. So the process ID is going to be so we'll see let win logon hid equal win logon processes. It's going to be the 0th one in the vec. And dot 0. Unknown as index I32. Oh, because it's still a hash map, right? No. Unknown name. Okay, it's good. Okay, that's saying process now. And this is still showing me unknown, which is no good. Now, this is all in an unsafe, which is why it's not screaming at me. I'm pretty sure we did something wrong here. Filter, iter. In fact, I'm going to just do a cargo build here just to see what happens. There we go. Ah, yes. Right. Because I'm doing that. But look at how nice that compiler message was. Very good. And that's exactly... Now I'm seeing process. And now I'm seeing 0 and 1. And I actually want the PID, right? Yeah. So this should say PID. Okay. And then W process ID is going to be winlogon PID dot as U32. Good. And then open process. Do I need to inherit the handle? I don't think so. If the value is true, process created by this process is created by this process will inherit the handle. Otherwise, processes do not inherit this handle. Yeah, I don't think I need to do that. So I'm going to leave that as a 0. And then the desired access is a process access rights, which we need to go get. Right? Process access rights. Which is a U32, but what kind of a thing is it? So the way that this kind of works is from system threading. So we need to find process access rights. It's going to be a constant. And process duplicate handle, right? I bet is what this is. Yep. Or do we want to try process all access? I don't even know if we're going to be able to do that. Let's start with process all access and see if we can go from there. So we have to import that from threading. Yep. Process all access. Okay. And then, so we're gonna open access rights. Good. Good, 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 good. Okay. Okay. Something's wrong with this, though. Oh, because it does return a handle, so, okay. And then we'll do... so in fact, this is going to be if let when log on proc handle if let okay, I should say, because what's going on here is that this is a result. And So in Rust, a result can either be an OK or an error. So we're gonna Mad Flash, thank you for the follow. And this is the paranoid Rust programmer. Where we're doing error handling at every point. What are we gonna do? Couldn't get log on handle. And then, can I get close handle? Oh, I have close handle. Awesome. Close handle. Actually, all of this is going to be inside of here, so let's do that. Close handle. And then log on prop handle. And we haven't done window log on token handle yet. And also, I can just get rid of this line because we're defining it here, not in this initialized variable. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is Chill Code. This is our Wednesday night stream where we chill, we code, and we chat. So this is sort of an AMA, a little free form. So if you have questions about programming or InfoSec or general IT stuff, career ideas, things like that, feel free to drop those in chat. You're also, of course, very welcome to join us in the Discord. You've seen the link there. We're a pretty fun community focused on learning and supporting each other. Okay. That's kind of a lot of errors. So first one is, can I find value process access rights? Open process. Oh, this should say process all access, right? Yeah. Which I thought we imported. We did. I just didn't put it down there. Okay. And yeah, and then closure expected to take one argument, but it takes two. Oh, it didn't like that. Okay. I was right the first time with the parentheses. And then the into param. Right, okay, so that should solve that problem. If let okay. Expected struct handle found enum results. Found a new result. Nothing. Non-primitive cast PID SU32. Oh, okay. We need to look up sysinfo then for the PID. Sysinfo. And actually, we need to go up to PID. Yeah. All right, what can you do? ASU32. Wonderful. So instead of doing the primitive casting, we'll do .as U32. Yes. Very good. Okay. That's a lot of those errors sorted. Not all of them, though. Oh, that's just a borrow problem. Okay, so we're actually doing refs to these PIDs and processes. That's fine. And I think I need to do PIDexed. Yeah. There we go. Need to reference that. What is happening? Mans with Opinions, thank you so much for the raid. How's everybody doing tonight? Feeling opinionated? Anyone who knows me knows that I am fairly opinionated myself. I like to pretend that I'm not, but no, the truth is I do have pretty strong opinions on most things. Well, welcome, new friends. What we're doing tonight is we're doing a little bit of Rust offensive programming. We're writing, if everything goes according to plan, a a privilege escalation tool in Rust that will take us from an administrative shell in Windows to a system shell. And the end goal, hopefully, is to get this thing into a tool that Husky, Hacks, and I have written called OffensiveNotion. OffensiveNotion is a command and control framework that uses the Notion note-taking app as its C2 channel. The trait into param bool is not implemented for integer. Oh, should I just give it a false? Okay, so the last piece here is this. All right, forget the if let here. Let's say just let win logon handle equals open process. Right, it's just going to return a handle. Look at that. So I need the panic somehow, but otherwise we're going to pull all this out. Oh. There we go. Also, that's super long as a line, but I'll live with it. Okay. Oh, right. Returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. Of course, I can't return references. That was dumb. Okay, I'm gonna do one of these. Now, I wonder if this is going to work. Looks like that part is actually working. And this isn't an unsafe function, so that otherwise would have been screaming at me. Come on, man. Well, crap. The process doesn't satisfy clone or to owned. That's annoying. Process does not satisfy that. All right, let's see what we can do about that. Let's go look at process here. Ted, thanks. Have a good night. Get some sleep. Oh, you know what? Okay. Pit process. So the P. The process, I actually don't want the process. I want the process name, which I can own, because that's just the process name. I don't need the whole process, right? Because the process has all sorts of stuff in it, right? The command line, the CWD. Unfortunately, not the handle. That would be cool. But I don't need all of that. I just need the name, which I can own. The pit I can own as well. Actually, is there any reason not to just return this as a U32? No, right? And then this actually returns a string. I think that's better, because then I don't have to worry about those types later. Yeah. The PID then is U32. And then I don't have to do this weird casting here, because that's fragile. Okay, I like that a little bit better. Come on, man. Oh, yes, good. Data moved here. Move occurs because n has type process, which does not implement the copy trait. Your problem is cannot move out of shared reference. Okay. Well, there is kind of a way to fix this, which is... let's do this. And then we're going to return filtered procs.map. That should have solved my move. No, did not solve my move. Oh, I don't need P here. Yeah, that's true. Hey, GoPro. Come on. Data moved here. Move to card because N has type process, which does not implement the copy trait. I don't think that's going to work either, because I still can't clone the thing. Yeah. Oh, God. I do need the name, right? Actually, do I? Can I just ignore this? Can I ignore the process name entirely? Just return a vec of U32s? And not deal with it? Unfortunately, I couldn't cheat like that. So we still have a move problem. I'm trying to think about the best way to deal with it, because I want this process coming out of this function. Well, There's no reason to do this, right? Because I still have the move problem either way. All right. So this is like a classic Rust problem, which is I'm doing a thing where I'm mapping on data that moves. No, Alpha, I'm so glad you're here. Sometimes I do mind backseating, but for this one, help me out, because this is a pattern I paint myself into constantly, and I would like to not paint myself into this corner every time I do it. Thank you for asking. I think that's the key. Get rid of the references and the closures. Is that it? Yeah, okay. Did I not save? No, filter. I'll be damned. I thought I thank you so much for that. That was like just a really weird I always did that because the double reference always freaks me out. So I always add the ref. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Okay. Now that we have the processes, so it built, which means I want to move it over and see what we have so far. Oh, snap. Except I forgot. Oh, I printed the wrong thing. When long gone proc handle. No panics though. Okay. So far, so good. We've got the proc handle. And with process all access, which may be more than we need, but for now it's fine. And in fact, I bet you this is an indicator. Trying to grab a process with process all access, I bet you that's a thing Defender is going to be like, why are you doing that? Especially if we do it to LSATs. Like, hey, maybe don't do that. Okay, open process token then. Which we have someplace. Process token. Okay, open process token. Process handle is param 0, which we have already given, which we're going to just pass in because that was the handle we just got. Desired access is token access mask. And I don't think we've gotten that just yet. Is this threading? Yeah, because we want like token duplicate, right? Is the access mask. Constants. Process. Token. Do. Thank you so much for the follow. I don't... Hold on a second. Token access mask, right? And that's from threading. Oh, but actually the token access mask is from security. Well, that's inconvenient. Token duplicate is the access mask that we want. So let's go... That's from security. duplicate. And okay. An open process token returns a bool. So we'll say if open process token. Okay, so the desired access open process token. I was like, that ain't right. There we go. Open process token. The process handle is going to be the WinLogon proc handle. The desired access is the token duplicate that we've imported. And the token handle is the pointer to mute handle. WinLogon token handle. Oh, if open process token. Print line. Dot WinLogon token. WinLogon token handle. Else. Print line. Panic, actually. All right. Okay. What up, Windows API? Right. No. What is it? It's like, we do like as raw, like as pointer, right? I have to look this up every time I do it. Hold on, Alpha, because I know you have it queued up. But I want to see if I can get this myself quickly. Because we have... Yeah. Thank you. Standard pointer. Yes. Null mute. And I don't want null mute. I need the standard pointer module. Single value. Right, there's the null mute, which we don't want in this case. Actually, we might be able to do that. Because the token handle, yeah. Yeah, this is so dude, this is Rust, but it is Rust interfacing with the Windows API, so it's going to look very wonky compared to most Rust. But yes, GoPro is right. I'm happy to teach and explain, and I'm learning as I go here as well. Boy, handle is a crappy name for this. Oh, oop, I changed the wrong thing. That wasn't the problem. Although, that's an interesting point. That worked fine. Did I break anything else? No. So when logon token handle, okay. That should solve that part. And then if open process token expected bool found struct bool. Oh, right. So that's kind of funky. The Windows API has this thing called a bool. And it isn't. Yeah. So we actually have to access it as a struct, or as a tuple. If open process token dot 0 not equal 0, it built. So this pointer null mute worked for this winLog on token handle in this context. What was the difference? The difference was what we were getting back in this case between like open process or get current process, right? Because what does get current process give us back? Gives us back a handle. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that worked. I want to see if I can do it without the null mute, because that's kind of like my point. Yes. Okay, I was right. So there's a way to do it without standard pointer. And just doing it with the built-in handle struct and mutes. There is a way to do it that way. Yes, okay. And that's the thing that, like, all the demos for this stuff, even the demos, and there are very few demos of doing this kind of Windows stuff in Rust, but even the ones that do are, they're not cheating, but they're making it more comfortable by using the C analogs, right? But we don't have to. We have this stuff in Rust that is built out with structs and proper typing, and I'm saying let's use it because it'll make the type system work better if we can do it. Okay. So that's built. Let's run this thing. All right, we've got the WinLogon token. Let's duplicate the token. We can slowly start closing some of these. So duplicate token is going to take the existing token handle, security impersonation level, so it's another thing we're going to have to go get, and then the mute handle. Okay, and the duplicate token handle, which is an out. So we have to make that. So we'll reserve another handle for the duplicate token. Okay. And say if duplicate token. Did I not import duplicate token? Shame on me. That's from security. Duplicate token. And security impersonation level. It's also sort of security. So security impersonation level. What do you think it's going to be? Token impersonate? That's an access mask. Security impersonation level. Windows. Security impersonation level. What are the options? Thank you. Anonymous, identify, impersonate. Right? It's probably right. RPC, imp level, impersonate. Is that a thing? Those are structs, though. Security impersonation level. Oh, no, that's it. Security impersonation. Okay. Okay, cool. Security impersonation. So we're going to say if duplicate token, the existing token handle is our WinLogon token handle. The impersonation level is security impersonation. The duplicate token handle is going to be, yeah, we do that same way. We do and mute duplicate token handle. And again, this returns a bool struct. So dot 0 not equal to 0. Then we're going to print line. Duplicate a token. And otherwise, do another Panic at the Disco here. Panic at the token impersonation. The less successful cover band of Panic at the Disco. All right, couldn't duplicate token. Then we're going to do impersonate logged on user, which I don't think we've imported yet. So impersonate logged on user, which now we get to look up. Impersonate logged on user. Hey, Spartan GTR. I'm sorry I missed the follow, but thank you so much for it. Oh, dang. It's literally just the token? Okay. And it returns a bool. If impersonate logged on user. Duplicate token handle. Yep. I don't know why that's not auto-completing. And this is where we'll run the who am I. Why I went to the trouble of importing. Use who am I? Tennis developer. What a great handle. Good job getting that one. Thank you so much for the follow. Rockstar developer. And then we close the handle to the duplicate. Why is this not taking it? Duplicate token handle, yeah. What? It built? It works. We got it. Oh. That is true relief. That is true relief. Wow. Okay. Time to get this into OffensiveNotion, but now in a multi-threaded app. So that's an interesting point. We're not kicking off a process, though. I think what we may need to do, Husky, in the case of OffensiveNotion is, if this doesn't, because we need a rev to self, right? If we do it the way that we would do it elsewhere. But if we were to do it as a new session, we would just do like a create process, right? And then call it a day. Because with the impersonated token, but then yeah, well, we'll find out. So let's move this over. So get system. This is where we start doing actual offensive notion work, which will come up here, and get co taggart, get merge. Actually, pull. Get merge dev. Okay. Just gonna push that up to my branch now. Okay, let's try some of this. So, but in the same session. All right. Good night, Husky. Thanks for hanging out. So to add a new command to OffensiveNotion, you can kind of see how this works here. This is what all of our commands look like. I'll full screen this so it's easier to see. This is kind of all just boilerplate to handle command arguments, but this is what the commands actually look like, where we just kind of set these up like this. So to make a new command type, you kind of have to do it in 3 places. The first one is to add to the enum command type. And for this one, I like to do alphabetical, so we'll do get system. And then down here in our handlers, we will do command type get system. So this is the part where we're literally matching the string that we put into Notion to make this work. Okay. And then lastly, we have to tell it where to go. And this part doesn't exist yet, but we're going to make it exist. And I'm just gonna, what's the smallest one? PS. I'm just gonna copy PS. Copy, paste, and rename this to get system. And go back over to our mod here, and it's yelling at me now because it's like, hey, you forgot to match get system. So get system, and I actually want to use the logger. There's no arguments, so no need for that, but I do need the logger, so I will send the logger in. So let's some of this we need, but we also need to use create logger, and probably, yeah, use litcrypt lc, because we're going to do some string encryption and the Notion out. And these are tools that I put together. So Notion out, this is kind of a cool, this is maybe like the most rusty piece of code that I've written, which is a macro that, it's up here, that will do the encryption for me. And the reason why it's cool is that, so litcrypt, what it does is it takes string primitives and encrypts them at compile time. Okay, and they're only decrypted at runtime. So it really reduces your detection surface because you're encrypting with a specific encrypt key that you set at your compile time. So strings are not, like, you can't do a detection on our logging messages, right? Because they're encrypted and they'll change every time we build. So that's real handy. But in addition, I wanted to have the ability to create encrypted strings with, but also have like dynamic messages from our output, right? So to make that happen, this second part of the macro here uses the encrypted part of the string first, and then anything I can put arbitrary strings after it. So at least I have like the static part of the message encrypted. So I have to be a little creative with my logging messages, making sure that the encrypted part comes first and then the dynamic data comes second. But otherwise, it's a really great solution for getting encrypted strings in our logging messages and our system output. Okay, so what is it? Still yelling at me about the handler, right? Almost like args at KWArgs. Yeah, exactly right, GoPro. Oh, not get privs handle. This should be get system. Which doesn't exist yet because I have to say mod get system. Mod get system. There we go. What's your problem? Expected 0 arguments found 1. Oh. Logger. And yeah, just end logger. I don't mute it. I'm mystified as to what the problem is here. Oh. That would be why. There we go. All right, and actually I don't need command args because I'm not using it, but I will be using Notion out. Okay. Now, in order to make this work, we're gonna have to refactor a little bit of what we're doing with our get system proof of concept. First of all, is elevated is not a thing that I need to worry about because, well, sort of. I can use get privs straight. I can actually just use that function in get system. So I can use cmd get privs is elevated. Great. Yeah, there we go. So I'm importing that function, which means that... Oh, that actually solves this problem. And then I'm going to need this get processes function. And I'm just going to do all of this. All right, so we've got our dependencies. We're getting screamed at. That's very cool. Ah, right. So the reason we're going to get screamed at here is because This is the part where we have to, because of the way that OffensiveNotion works, I have to wrap a bunch of this stuff inside of conditional compilation decorators, like so. And in fact, it's going to be almost all of these. Because I don't need to include them for this module if I'm not... Yeah. Litcrypt I need. Logger is good. And Notion out is good. Okay. And CFG Windows for this function. We don't do get processes. I mean, we could. I might actually... no, it's fine. And then the easiest way to do this is to do one function, but the way that I like to do this is with CFG Windows and a block, right? And then another block that is configured for not Windows. And in the case of this, we're just going to say LC out, or Notion out. Module only works on Windows. Oh, no semicolon. Because this Notion out returns an OK. So that solves that problem. And in this case, we're going to do Notion out getting system. Just as a test for the basic structure, I want to see if this whole thing compiles. Now, I can run it from Linux, but that's not really the point, right? The point is to run it from Windows. I got to log back into Notion. I'm also going to have to turn Defender off. Because in debug, it definitely catches. Yeah, turn real-time protection off for now. All right. So we're going to do cargo build. Feels good to be working on OffensiveNotion again. It's been a minute since I've tucked into this code base. And I like this code base. Aw, man. Oh. Ah. That was the only error? Awesome. We have warnings all over the place for some, like, non-rusty stuff that folks have done. Eventually, we'll clean that up, but it's not a big deal for us right now. Okay. I should have built release. And Oh, interesting. Hey, it built. Okay. But also CD. Agent. Yeah. Okay. CP. OffensiveNotion. Good. M-check failure. Oh, God. Dang it. Sorry, that's a dumb problem. I can fix that. There we go. My actual Notion app refuses to launch. There we go. And what do we have? Odyssey. Very good. So this is running. Just to prove it's running. And then get system. Now this isn't going to work, but I should say it should say getting system. Well, it sucks. So, what did we do wrong? Sleep that. Let's go back over here. What do we do wrong? Mod. Get system. Oh. Good job, Taggart. Actually, I'm gonna not launch the app because it's being a pain. Okay, and then yeah. Cool. Okay. So now we try get system. Did I trash the wrong one? No, I didn't. It just said unknown command type. Okay. Trash this. Kill this. Get system. Get system handle. Looks good. Get system. I mean, that looks okay, unless I did something funny, like I didn't actually... let me run it from here. And see if the Linux side does any different. Sorry. Okay. Get system. I wonder if I just didn't like copy over the binary. Because that works fine. Yep. That works like a charm. So... one more time for that. All right, there's the Odyssey again. Create system. Well, that's interesting. All right, let's not leave anything a chance to cargo clean, and then cargo build. Oh, was I? Hold on. I was copying the debug build over, which is fine. I wasn't building the debug build. Well, that would explain it. We're pretty close. Now, I should see get system. I should see getting system. Good. Good. Okay, so the basic architecture of the command is set, and now we just need to implement it, which we've already done. In theory. Got get processes, right? And then, okay, so then it's pretty much just this. Except we're going to replace pretty much every print line. Well, we'll do this later, but for now, I just want to see it happen, right? So... impersonated. I can't do panics anymore, though. Panics are no good. We're gonna replace every panic with Notion out. Oops. And a return, because that's the only way we'll be able to exit this safely. And we're not going to close these handles just yet. Well, we can actually close this one, but we don't want to close the duplicate proc handle. We'll do Notion out for this too. And otherwise, this one is going to be out. And username returns a string, thank God. I think that's pretty much good. Okay, so an error or two. Oh, is it literally the semicolon? Or was that just the first of many errors? Oh, easy days. Dot as stir. Oh, come on. Expected results found nothing. Oh, right. Okay, now we're returning something. Yeah, I know it's a call to an unsafe function. Oh. We're going to basically wrap this whole thing inside of there. It's a little bit funky doing this with the conditional compilation, right? Because obviously the code is all grayed out. And also, Rust Analyzer can't check this code because it's ignoring it because I'm developing it in WSL. If I did develop this in Windows, it would work, but it would also be super weird. All right. Let's see what this does. Here's our new agent. Good system. Oh, this isn't going to work. I forgot to launch it as an administrator. Well, let's see if the error works. Okay, the error works. So that's good news. All right, let's delete this. And then Got my admin shell here. And you can even see that it shows that we're elevated. Get system. Oh my god. I wonder if that's gonna hang though. Nope. That's it. That's it. So we'll need to implement a rev to self somehow. But that's it. That's get system for OffensiveNotion. So that'll be in the next release. Well, well, well. I think that's a great note to end on. Man. Very cool. Okay. Well, friends, thank you so much for sticking it out through this stream. Pretty long stream, but very cool of you to do so. I hope you had fun. I know I did. So, I am not, of course, the only InfoSec streamer out there. We are Legion. GoPro, do you happen to have a recommendation as to a raid recipient for tonight? Skyfire? That was where I was going. Perfect. Well then, we're going to raid Skyfire, and then I will be back on Saturday at 10 a.m. doing some blue team stuff. We've got some more work on our IDS and IPS to do. So I will see you then. Until then, friends, please be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and happy hacking. We will see you next time.